Welcome to this edition of Tour Confidential on Golf.com, presented by FootJoy, the #1 shoe in golf. I'm Jessica Marksbury, and I'm delighted to be joined here in Augusta, Georgia by Golf.com's Jeff Ritter and Sean Zock. And guys, what a show it was on Sunday afternoon. Sergio Garcia, a major champion at long last. After 73 major championships without a title, Jeff, everything changed here in Augusta. What was it that made the difference for Sergio today?
Something was happening in the sunset and in the trees. All of a sudden, the cosmic forces that for so long worked against Sergio Garcia, somehow it just lined up for him. Even as Justin Rose threw his absolute best at Sergio and got a few lucky bounces on the 18th hole in regulation, he still somehow, it was Sergio's day. And good for him. I mean, 73 majors without a title. Obviously, he was on everybody's list of best players without one of these, if not at the top of that. So it was his day.
Yeah, this really begs the question now, Sean, where does Sergio go from here? Because it seems like he should be a lot older than he is, because he's been on tour for the better part of 2 decades now. But he's still a young guy, only 37 years old. It seems like there could be maybe 10, even 15 years of prime golf left for him.
Oh yeah, there are other golfers out on tour that can show you that golf in your 40s, major championships in your 40s, that can happen. It's being proven. So Sergio goes from needing to get #1 to focusing in on #2. And there's a huge difference, I think, mentally when you do that. Getting the first one's really tough. Getting the second one, it seems to come a little bit easier to guys. You know, this happened at the Masters where he hasn't had that much success. So if he can do it here, why not the British Open where he showed so much success? The PGA Championship where he showed so much success? It has to open up your opinion on Sergio.
I always thought it would be an Open Championship.
Me too.
A British Open for Sergio before anything else. This was the tournament he said, I can't win this thing, right? This course is not for me. Right. And yet here he is a few years later slipping on a green jacket.
He had two kind of press conference meltdowns in Augusta. He had that was 2009, and then 2012 he just said, I'll never win a major, I'm not good enough. That happened here at Augusta too. So I agree with you. I always thought the British was the place where it always felt like he was the most loved, and he fed off that from the crowd. But he had the fan support today. It really felt, the whole atmosphere around him felt different than it has in Masters past. And you know, we talk about the golf gods or whatever you want, but he found the clutch shots for the first time ever in a major. He was the one sticking the irons in there to kick in range, and just something different happened for him today. It finally clicked. Yeah,
was it his ball striking alone, Sean, or what do you think really made the difference here for Sergio?
It was just clutch shot after clutch shot. I don't think any of us expected that to happen. If we pointed that last group and said, who's going to play clutch golf? Well, everyone's going to go with Justin Rose, but clutch tee shots on 17, on 18, approach shots inside of 10 feet. He kept doing it and kept doing it. Justin Rose was just taking body blows at that point because he wasn't as finely tuned there the last couple holes. So Sergio just kept pushing at him. He didn't need to hit the putts exactly just to continue pushing towards that green jacket. Eventually Justin Rose kind of gave in.
I think when Justin Rose was up 2 on the back 9, that was the moment where all of us who follow golf and are familiar with the arc of Sergio's career went, oh man, here we go again. It's not his day. And somehow Sergio today, for the first time, found the shots.
The last 2 years have really been a boon for guys getting that major monkey off their back. You think of Dustin Johnson, you think of Henrik Stenson. Now Sergio Garcia is off that list. So that begs the question, guys, who is now the best player to have never won a major?
Yeah, I think it might be Ricky. He's still so young, but he's a top 10, a pretty solidly in the top 20, currently top 10. It's starting to get lonely on that list, though. Maybe Hideki Matsuyama, I don't know.
Could go with some of the older guys, maybe in the Lee Westwoods and the Matt Kuchars of the bunch, but certainly Ricky had some high expectations today and unfortunately didn't capitalize on his opportunity.
I think about Kuchar, a guy that made a run up the leaderboard today. He showed a ton of success at Augusta in the past. There have been older guys that have won their first major in the past couple years. Jimmy Walker, Henrik Stenson, these guys that have been journeymen in many rights, many PGA Tour wins, got it done. I think as far as the older guy list goes, it's got to be Kuch.
All right, now that the Masters has ended, we got to start the hype machine for the U.S. Open right here, right now.
In Augusta.
As we look ahead, who is the current favorite now as we go to Erin Hills?
For my U.S. Open pick?
Yes.
Oh, it's Dustin Johnson.
Yeah.
Assuming he can get back. We don't know, he's drifted away and we don't know what's going to happen or how much this back injury lingers. But I still think, it was weird and surreal what happened on the first tee this week. But as soon as he comes back healthy, he goes right back to being the favorite at Erin Hills for me.
Yeah, you took my answer, and it's okay. I won't hold it against you. But if you look at the leaderboard we saw this weekend, you saw Fowler up there, Mickelson up there at sometimes, McIlroy up there, Spieth up there. I know we've got 2 months to wait for the U.S. Open at Erin Hills, but any of those guys in the top 10 with the real firepower, birdie power, any of those guys are going to be favorites, and you wouldn't be shocked if any of them ended up winning.
Well, I can be satisfied not living in the future at the moment. We can really soak in this incredible Masters experience that we've had this week. Sean and Jeff, thank you so much for your time and insight, and thank you all for joining us on this edition of Tour Confidential on Golf.com, presented by FootJoy, the #1 shoe in golf. We'll see you back in our New York City studio next week.